So today was the day that I was going to change the controller on my bike. Super excited. Been sitting for since last weekend. And something happened and I called the owner of Wired / Rickety Bike, Steven, who's always a rock star. And we discovered it's probably the controller the issue I was having. So sent me a new one. Today's Saturday, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get my new controller on and get the bike out, go for a ride. And this is what I wake up to. Welcome to South Florida. So, do I have another idea? Of course I do. I'm gonna bring the thing inside and get it down in here. Come hell or high water, I'm riding that bike this weekend. So, let's go bring it inside. All right, guys. Well, look, lo and behold, we waited a little while, watched a little college football, and the sun came out. So I think we're going to be able to handle this controller exchange outside now rather than having to bring it in the house. I'm trying to get it in some daylight here, so hopefully you can see a little bit better. But I believe the only thing holding this on are those 4 screws, as you can probably see right there. And it looks like they're Phillips head. So we're going to go ahead and work on getting those off. But first things first is I want to get all the power out of this battery. So you can see when I push it, that sucker's full. So what we're going to do first is, again, forgive the camera work a little bit. It's not always easy being cameraman and producer guy at the same time. But you can see the power's on. We got power. So we're going to go ahead and take this battery off. So give me just a second. All right, so when we got this thing set up on the tripod, make it a little bit easier. It's been a while since I've taken this battery off, so I don't remember exactly how it goes, but where's the key? Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. So you can tell they're mine because it says Dad, right? Because my daughter has a bike and the keys look identical, but they are not. So we're going to go ahead and take this battery off, I think, somehow. Ah, there we go. Okay. Oh, dang, that thing is heavy. All right, I'll get this out, set it aside. And part 2, equally as important, is we're going to come over here to the controller button, like so. And we're just going to hold down that power button to discharge any remaining. See that flash? There's just a little bit of remaining power left in there. But now it's completely out. So the chances of me getting a shock, hopefully, are about 0. So next step is we are going to still running. How about that? Okay, so where are we at here? We're doing lots of editing on this one. All right, let's see if we can turn this down a little bit. No, it's not letting me do that. It's gonna make me go like that. Okay, so there's one thing I wanted to mention. There's 2 ways that you could actually work on that. One is I'm hoping if I just leave it like this, take the cover off, that'll kind of stand up on that pedal, and then I can just, exchange each wire for each wire. The other way would be, if I had to, and if I have to, I will, but I prefer not to, is flip the bike upside down, and then I could kind of lay it, on top of the bottom of the frame, if that makes any sense, and see if, that's an easier way to do it. But I watched a couple other videos on some guys doing this, and they kind of did it this way. So let's roll with it, see what happens. I got all the screws out except for one, so we'll go ahead and get that last one out, get the cover off, and take a look at the controller inside, which will be interesting. And I want to see if it matches the one that I was sent by Wired, because they're identical, or they should be identical, because it came straight from the manufacturer. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, I've got one more screw that I left on there, because we didn't, who wants to watch me take off 4 screws? So there we go. And it's interesting, it's just like a little plastic cover is really all that this thing is. I put the other 3 screws in my pocket because I don't want to deal with having to go find new screws if I lose them, which I probably would. So, oh, there it is. Let's see. Cool. Okay. So that part is done. Put the screw in my pocket. I don't lose it in my pineapple garden here. All right. So if I'm correct, hopefully this, yes, yeah, should just come. Ah, dang it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, cool. So there we go. There's the controller. Stop. Just like that. Let's get the new one and make sure they match. Yeah, it looks like they're identical. So in terms of reading the label, see if you guys can see that or not. Otherwise, I'm just kind of talking to myself here about nothing. Okay. Let's drop this down a little bit. Okay, so there's the controller. You can see. Come on, hopefully it's focused. I can't really tell. And this is the new controller. And they seem to be hopefully identical. Voltage protection, DC 60, 20 amp. Current 40. Yeah, it's identical. It's the same exact one. So let's go through wire by wire. Let me lower this down a little bit. Oh, sorry, drop like that. And oh crap, you know what? I might have to go. Dang it. All those connections are underneath the bike. Okay, so I'm gonna have to flip it upside down. It's not gonna be as easy and quick as I thought, but lesson learned. All right, guys, give me a second. Let me hit pause and let me get this bike flipped upside down. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the bike upside down. Pretty easy to flip it. You just grab the rear brake and bring it around on its backside and flip it over, and just sits gently on its handlebar. So not going to be as quite as simple as I thought, because you can see here there's a lot of like little wires and zip ties and all that sort of stuff that needs to come off. Looks like we've got 2, 3, 5 connections on the new controller, and I can see one here, but the rest of them are short. See how short those other wires are? The only one that's long is this one right here, which I've already kind of unscrewed, but I got to take off that zip tie, and I have to take off this zip tie and this one. And I'm hoping a lot of the other connections are in here, because there's 2 here, right? You can see those 2 connections, hopefully. Get you a better angle. So there's 1 there, and then 1 there. So that's 2, that's 3. So we're missing 2 more, which I see 1 more here is 4. So I can find that 5th one. Hopefully it's just underneath here somewhere, and that'll be really easy. So sorry, forgive the lack of focus. So let's try it. Let's start cutting some zip ties and see if we can do this without cutting. There we go. Okay, so there's 1. Here's the other. Let's see, I can move this. Yes, I can. Cut this zip tie. I'm nervous, man. I don't like doing this because I'm always worried I'm going to cut the wire on 2. And then here's the 3rd zip tie right here. Make sure we got it clean. Yeah, okay, so there's nothing on there except in that grip, except for the zip tie itself. Makes me so nervous. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we're going to disconnect this one, right? I don't know that I can do this and hold this camera at the same time. Oh, there's another zip. Okay, 1 more. One more. All right, got it. Okay. That's it. I'm not cutting any more damn zip ties because they make me too nervous. All right, so what we're going to do is go through and connect these wires. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only one I can't find right now, but I will, I'm sure. And we'll switch the controllers out that way and make sure it works. The problem, and I'll show you, actually put it in the beginning of the video, what was happening is it just died. I don't know what happened. It just went away on me. So anyway, let's start pulling connections and making them reconnect, and hopefully we'll find that one that I'm not seeing right now. All right, I'm going to try and find a place to put this down. Okay, let's get it going here. So we're going to do these one at a time. Let's get this one disconnected. And as I disconnect them, I'm going to reconnect them so we can do everything back in its proper spot. Let's see, this is certainly not, I thought this was going to be more plug and play, but it's okay. All right, so we got this one taken care of. Good. All right, we're going to do, next one next is, we'll go this one, right? Because I see one here that looks similar. Yes, no, yes, yeah, that one. So hopefully they just pull apart. I wish I had a bench inside a garage to work on this stuff, but I don't. There's nothing holding this together other than just pulling apart. So there we go. Okay, so that one came out of the control. Wait, what? Oh no, okay, so that one came out of the controller. That one came out of the bike. There's a little notch in that one. If you see my hand shaking, because it makes me nervous doing this kind of stuff, then I'm going to destroy my bike. Okay, so there's that one. There's another one here. And of course, they're identical. Oh, man. But they have colors inside. So one is green and one is yellow. So let's see what the color is. Sweet. So that one, that's the male that came out. So the green goes here. Okay. So we got that one. See those, again, there's a little notch. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but there's a notch that will guide it into the right spot. Okay, and so the remaining one, the mystery one, I think it is. I think it's this one. Let's see. Can you see that up here? That looks identical. And that's yellow. Let's see. Yeah, it is. Cool. Okay, so with that disconnected, I should be able to just take this out. Oh, wouldn't you know it, there's another zip tie. Okay, so let me get my clippers, snippers. And this is kind of the thing, you know, with, I really shouldn't have to disconnect that. Well, maybe, I guess it doesn't matter. With owning an e-bike, you know, it's not like, I mean, I guess you could take it to a local bike shop, but generally when it comes to these kind of repairs, you're on your own. So you got to kind of be handy with this stuff or be willing to pay somebody to come over and do it for you, I guess. Maybe that would be me after I end up fixing all this stuff. Okay, so what's holding this up? Oh, dang, didn't know about that. So let's see. That one's connected. This one is disconnected, so that can go away. So where's what's holding me up? There's a black and white, or red and black. It's got a sleeve on it. It's got a sleeve that this one does not have. So how do we, it's a soft tube. Oh, dang it. You know what I'm going to have to do is, you don't have a choice. Look at this spaghetti of wires. My hands aren't blocking it, but you can see that has a cover on it, and this is the connection way up here. So I suppose if I can just get in here and cut it. Yeah, all right, that's the easy way to do it. Oh, wouldn't you know it's taped in there too. So this is not gonna, this is way more work than I thought it would be. But that's okay, I don't mind work. But because it's on the bottom of the bike and it's exposed, I guess that's why they wrap it up. So we'll figure out something comparable. Because Lord knows this part ain't going back on. Okay, so how's that going to connect on? This one, like that, it looks like it's just a clip. So a little piece of electrical tape, which is how we will do it. And we should be able to disconnect this one and move on to the new one and be done with this. Let's check my camera real quick, make sure it's still rolling because, oh, it is, good. Let me show you what I'm talking about real quick. See how that part, it had like that sleeve, this plastic sleeve, this is what I had to cut off. And now it's got a cover on it to get to the black and white wire, or black and red, where the black and red wire on the new controller doesn't have any sort of sleeve on it. So I think we're going to have to put like electrical tape or something around there to seal it up. All right, let's get back to where we were. See if I can move you a little closer. Maybe raise it up a little bit. You can sort of see what I'm working on. Again, if I had a cameraman, that would be a lot easier, but I don't. Okay. Where's that going to connect? That's all I need to do is find the connection part of the plastic, the yellow plastic. Yeah, I think I found it. Yep, that's it. Okay, so this appears to only be electrical tape. Perfect. That came out really easy, which is a relief. But it really wants to hold on to that sleeve, which I would like for it to, but I can't get it to save. So, in any event, there we go. Success. Got the old one off. Finish these last two connections, and I remember this. Put these snippers down. Okay, so this is going in here like this. All this stuff kind of goes underneath. There's my yellow. Let's get that connected. Ugh, man, my back. Okay, so that's gonna go. I think, you know what, I'm gonna have to rerun that big red wire. There's a notch there. Perfect. Let's get this up and connected. Square end to that. Okay. So what I think I have to do is rerun this one. I wasn't really paying attention. I knew there was a loop on the other one. Through here like this. And then in there. And I hate taking stuff apart that I've already put back together, but it is what it is. Let's see, come on, there we go. Cool. Ta-da! We did it. Okay, maybe I'm just whining, but it didn't seem maybe as bad as I thought it would be. But that's it. So the next step is now I want to go get some tape. I want to tape that up with some electrical tape or maybe in duct tape, whatever it is, because it had a sleeve on it before, which it doesn't have now. And I think we put all this stuff in, get a couple of zip ties, clean all this junk up. See, like all this extra. Well, it's not really extra, but I'm going to cut that off clean. I feel bad about, unfortunately, there's no way to remake that sleeve except doing it by yourself with tape. And then we'll get a couple of zip ties. We'll zip all this stuff up. And then I'll come back and show you what it looks like, okay? I'm not going to bore you with 20 minutes of me trying to figure that out. All right, be right back. Okay, so let me show you guys what I did here because I obviously didn't have a replacement sleeve. that one wire here that was covered with the with the like the plastic sleeve. I guess because it's underneath and there's a connection that's, you know, could be exposed to water where it is. So what I did is I took the plastic sleeve that I had come off of the original one, wrapped it around that, and then took about 3 to 4 lengths of electrical tape. I don't know if that's blurry or not, sorry if it is. And wrapped it around that same connection. So that should be pretty solid. I don't like to cut corners when I work on this bike. So I want to make sure everything is done correctly. And so that is now basically double and triple wrapped with electrical tape, and the rubber that was part of the original, you know, seal that went over the top of this, which I had to cut just to get to that connection. So, which I'd imagine, I mean, it has to be done at the factory because it probably runs all the way down in this frame. And the only way to get to it would be to disconnect, you know, closer up here to the handlebars, which is not really something anybody wants to do. Okay, so let's, you can see obviously, I mean, everything's connected, everything looks good. So the next part is zip tying it up, making it all clean. And I'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like before we flip it back over and seal it up. Okay, so continuing on. I've got all my zip ties in place, put everything back as neat as I could get it, which I feel like I did a pretty good job. Let's see, even like tied those back together. They're underneath the bike, but they have plenty of clearance. I mean, you know, from the tires and the sprockets and all that. That's probably about as good as I could get it. And so now the next step is going to be, see, it's hard to figure out. I don't think there was an exact place for all these wires, but kind of putting this controller back in this area and getting the box cover over it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't think I can do that with the camera rolling, so, or with the camera in my hand. So let me go ahead and put that away, and then we'll come back and we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, so it looks like we are 99% of the way done. I was able to get that back on, no problem. You know, I feel like maybe the wires weren't perfect the way they went in there, but the controller cover did seal. It did seal on both sides. So we can go over here and I can show you this side as well. There you go. So you can wiggle this kind of like out and back or out and back, but once I was done, I kind of pushed it back in center so it would be off away from that chain. And the way that it worked, there we go. So the way that it worked to get it back on, because you can't just slide that cover back on. Like you have to kind of take the controller, put it in, and then sort of tuck it in that way. And that will make it work. So the final step is we're going to flip the bike over and let's see if this solved our problem. Okay, so I got the bike back upright. Everything appears to be good. The controller's back in. Wires look fine. Now that I'm looking at them, maybe I might do another zip here later or something, but everything looks good. But the battery is back in. So the big moment, we're going to press the power button. Oh shoot, you know what? I wonder if I have to go back and reset all that stuff. All the settings I used to make it go faster. And let's see if it wants to go. There's only one way to do this. Bear with me. And if it wants to go, then we know we're good. Oh, yes. Yep. Sorry, I know that was crappy video. That worked. That was the problem. So I don't know what happened with the other controller, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to have fun and take it apart and figure out what happened. So here we go. Oh, yeah, we're good to go. Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Yeah. Good. So we're done. So it was a little bit more of a project than I thought, for sure. And I'll have to go back and watch a programming video. I think I do this. Right? No, there's a way to do it, but do this to figure out how to reprogram this. But problem solved. So that's huge. It's a huge relief off my mind, and hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. I certainly hope that you learned something from it. A little more, you know, tricky than we think initially, but at the end of the day, we got it done. So I'm going for a quick ride. See ya. All right, guys, so in closing, I took the bike out for a ride. It went perfectly fine. Curiosity got to me, so I had to take the controller apart, and so I did that. It's interesting because I can smell a little bit of burning smell, but I don't see anything on the circuit board inside, because of course I have to take it apart and see what it looks like. That seems to be, or appears to have any burning to it, so that's it. I took my mic off, so I'm sure you can still hear me, just not as good. See if we can get closer. No? Okay, fine. But that's it. That's what the inside of it looks like. And see, nothing is burned. I don't know. Maybe these, I don't know what these things are called, capacitors or something like that. So maybe one of those just burned out, but there's no visual evidence on the board of any damage. But I definitely think that I have to, oh well, I know I have to reprogram it because it lost a lot of its pep. So I think when I changed the controller out, took the battery off, that everything probably reset back to the factory default. So I'll go find a video on YouTube and get it reprogrammed back to warp speed. And hopefully get some riding in tomorrow, Sunday, before it rains and before the football games start. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a lot. And again, if there's any questions, let me know. I'm happy to help you with the tips and tricks of how I got this thing apart and put it back together. All right. This is Kevin from What's Kevin Doing? And I am out. See ya.